another episode of Sticks and Skins. Corey Dungan, Lawrence Foster, and today we're going to be talking about PC gaming versus console gaming. So, for the longest time, Foster and I were console gamers all through childhood, but then this past fall, we decided to bite the bullet and do something we had talked about doing for a long time, which is building our own PC. So so we're just gonna talk about, I guess, our journey through that, just because it was a bit of a challenge, and then just you know, what's it been, Foster? About 6-ish months since we started doing this, maybe a little bit less.
Yeah,
And just
we had it completed at Thanksgiving. So what, November, December, yeah, roughly that. So I mean, I think we have a pretty good, at least, ability now to speak on the pros and cons of each.
yeah. So I guess
I
six.
can tell you, like, when we first started this, it was like the process of going and building a PC. It's easy to fall into like a rabbit hole with all the things that go into it. Like, I know I was watching countless like YouTube videos of like what to buy, what to like, the best graphics cards, the best builds, the best cases, pros and cons of all that. Everyone has so many differing opinions.
Mhm.
So it's like it can be a very overwhelming process to try to figure out, well, like, how do I go about starting this
And I
monstrosity?
Yeah, no, and I think for us, like, having people that we know that have done this before was a huge
Mm.
help, because there's so many things that you don't realize, or making sure, like, little things like making
Mm.
sure that your RAM and your motherboard are compatible prior to starting down this road. I thought, yeah, I mean, any RAM you just slot it in, it should be fine, but no, that's not the case. So
Yeah,
I guess for me,
that's very true.
anyways, just taking like a 10,000 foot view 6 months later, you know, before we get into the process, like, is it actually worth it? Is it worth doing? And I think whether it's worth it just depends on what your overall gaming goals are, right? Like, if you
Yeah,
were, I think if you're just like a single player, you like to play
no,
games by yourself, I don't know if doing this would be worth it. But if play multiplayer games like you and I do, like Rocket League, Call of
mm,
Duty, I mean,
yeah.
I think it's advantageous.
Oh, it's absolutely 100% is. But before we move on, I still show backstage on my screen. I don't know if you push me through.
Boom, baby.
There we
There we
go.
go.
I just noticed that. But you're right, it all depends on what you're doing. I still play all my single player games are still on the PS5 and the Switch. So you're like, if that's all you're playing, it's definitely not, unless you really want to get into the Steam store for those PC exclusives. But nowadays I feel like there's not that many PC only games where that would be worth dropping what you need to play those games.
Mm-hmm.
And but like you said, if you're doing online, like, I do not play Rocket League or Call of Duty anymore on the PlayStation. I tried once because I was having issues with a driver, but once I fixed that, like, I tried playing on PS5 and, like, oh my goodness gracious, like, you could feel the difference.
And
So
maybe it's just me, but, like, I can't tell a huge difference between, maybe once you're so good it doesn't really matter. Um, I mean, and Call of Duty for sure. In Call of Duty, I notice a big difference, especially just from the latency, and just those
mm,
milliseconds where, if you see them,
yes,
100 milliseconds sooner, or vice versa, that person is likely going to win the battle. Or the field of view. I mean, it's less of an issue, I think, with the PS5, but with the PS4, the field of view was a huge
yeah,
problem, because PC people could go and have a much larger field of view for, and looking back on all those times that we were sniped or killed, and we're like, man, I didn't even see that person. Well,
yeah. Now we know why.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, and like, it's all about the type of gamer you are. So I know you still play Rocket League and Call of Duty on both.
I flip flop, yeah.
Yeah, mainly because of the seating situation.
Yeah,
Uh,
no.
but But also, if you're going to do it like we started doing this, if you're going to stream, like, you don't need to have a very powerful PC, but it's nice to be able to do what we're doing right now. It's
Hmm.
nothing we had done before. So if you're going to do it, like if you're trying to dabble into streaming, if you're trying to get that, like if you keep dying close in gunfights in whatever shooter game you play, and like you barely die and they're almost dead, the PC could absolutely make 100% of the difference.
Yeah.
So yeah, but like I think we should get like the process of our how we thought going through like how are we going to build this PC.
Sure.
I think that's important.
Yeah. I mean, what we started with the case, right? And we sort of built
Yeah, the very
everything.
first thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So we just found a case online that had pretty good reviews. We wanted to have one that was relatively spacious, just because we knew that we were going to build a higher end PC, so we need
Mhm.
plenty of room for airflow and all the components and whatnot. But then also just getting one that we liked how it looked. I wanted one where I could see inside of it. So one of the side panels is glass. We have a Cooler Master Fractal. I forget, maybe Fractal 2. I just liked how that looked. So ultimately, it was for me, it was size and then just meeting certain visual requirements.
Yeah, I mean, you see it whenever you look at PC builds, it's usually like, oh, you can see inside, so you can see like we have the RGB lighting inside and all that, and
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, like we started with a case, but then like again, like you said, we built a higher end one, and we wanted to be able to like kind of future proof it, like for as we go, we can just buy a piece here and there to keep it at the higher end as we go forward.
Yeah, I mean, because for all the parts that we talk about, I think we spent each about 3 grand. I think
Hmm.
to put this thing together. Um,
And but again, like we like the last episode, we talked about like how we wouldn't mind every few years buying a new console.
right.
Well, same thing here. If I have to upgrade a graphics card every 3 to 4 years, all right, no biggie. We'll just do that. And so, like as we're building, we were trying to think like, how do we make sure this is future proof that we can continue to use like the case and the motherboard and all that to make sure we don't have to rebuild the entire thing when it's time to upgrade a piece.
Right.
But
But
I think the key thing, like you said too, is people who know what they were doing helped a lot. Like I have a friend Joe here who is a huge like just like he builds PCs for fun. He drives and listens to podcasts of people talking about the PCs. So being able to bounce stuff off him, I know you had a friend, so that was like an invaluable tool to be like, hey, to make sure we're not really messing things up as we're buying our pieces.
yeah, yeah, because after we bought the motherboard, then it was going and getting the CPU, the RAM, and like I
Mm-hmm.
said, just little things like going onto the QVC website, not the online shopping one, um,
Mm-hmm.
but the one that just makes sure that the RAM that you buy is compatible with the motherboard that you bought. Just because yeah, that's what we did. We bought the motherboard, then we got the CPU, um, and then the RAM. And it was yeah a bit of a process, definitely a huge learning experience. But I mean, yeah, relying on the expertise of others. Like I couldn't sit here and talk to you and tell you exactly how to build it. I know how to do it, and I could do it again. But to go and give like those specific details, not definitely relying on somebody who either has an expert in computer science or at least has done this a lot, like our friends.
Yeah, yeah, and like you also like one of the things we had to look at was like, what do we want? Like, what do we want to spend the most on the GPU? Like, so like,
Man, where's that dog
so,
coming from?
yeah,
Sick.
but monetarily, like it's like, where are you gonna pour it in? Like, we got pretty good. I mean, we got a pretty good computer monitor
Yeah.
for not a really bad price.
No, that was the thing too, right? Like as technology, as it's gone over the years, right? It just comes down in
Hmm.
price, and so that's what you're trying to find bargains when you can. Actually, for us, I think what helped a lot too is that we bought components that were, I don't know, they were about to be outdated isn't the word, but they were about to be refreshed, if you will. So we didn't get
Mm.
the 1300 or the 13th generation Intel chip. We got the 12th generation. We didn't get the 4000 series graphics card. We got the 3000 series. It was, yeah, it was right as all
Yeah.
of the newer updated chips and components were coming out. Did we start building this? I think that also helped.
Well, yeah, like when you think about it, like when you're buying a car, if you go right like when the new models are going to be coming out, you can get a pretty decent deal on the ones that are quote unquote older now.
Yeah.
So, and like we're more than holding, like if we go do our speeds on like Call of Duty or Rocket League, we're always right there.
Wait,
Uh,
oh, you mean in terms of like 120 ish for frames per second?
yeah, so like on like we played Xbox games on here like graphically that are like no hiccups and
Mm-hmm.
like so yeah, if you don't want to drop a ton of money to get the newest stuff, just go one generation. But like, I don't know if it's even called generation. I don't know how that terminology works.
Right.
But like one iteration back, that's gonna be good for 3 to 4 years. Gonna be mid high range.
Yeah, and I was just I mean, yes, but I would also just encourage people that if they don't think, well, I couldn't do it, or it's too much for me, it's too complicated for me. Nah, I really do think it's very intimidating at first, but like once you
Hmm.
start to do it, anybody can do it. If you can operate a screwdriver, you can do it. It's just being careful. Planning. I mean, having a plan is obviously important for everything, but for this,
Yeah.
you don't want to go in and do things in a wrong order. I'll say this: there was in the first one that I built, there was definitely once or twice that I had to take parts out because I didn't do them in the right order. Like I would install something, but then it would block the installation of something else. And so, yeah, there's obviously going to be some learning curve, but I mean, for me, that's about as much as I had ran into. Like I was prepared. Okay, yeah, I had to, altered the order of things that I installed, but other than that, it was a
Hmm.
relatively straightforward process.
Yeah, and like Corey is the one like he built both of ours. I mean, like because he had everything shipped to his house in Texas. Because the plan was I would go at Thanksgiving and pick it up there in my vehicle. So so that's how that worked. I didn't build it. I wouldn't have built it. I would have had my friend Joe do it for me if I was doing it myself. Um,
But you could
but
have done it, Lawrence. You
no,
could have.
I would have watched the video and done like I would have been taking me 2 weeks. I just would have done piece by piece. Just stress wise, it would have done a number on me.
How do you
But
die?
building PC.
Yeah.
What do you mean in a factory? No, at his house.
In a factory.
But like it was a lot of money we spent over like a few months, but looking back on it, I am very happy how everything turned out. If I had to go back, I would do it. I would spend the money again on it.
Same. I mean, and because for at least for me, anyways, it wasn't just like the benefit that I got out of it. It was my wife used to play some PC games as a kid, and
Hmm.
um, she hasn't played them since. So we were able to download them, and now her and my daughter play Age of Empires together.
Hmm.
So my wife does some other things on here. My daughter does some. So it hasn't been just for me. It's been more of like a family thing that's gotten at least my wife, anyways, back into gaming.
Yeah, I mean that says something, and I mean that's another advantage of the PC. All the emulators you have to play, not just PC games. You can go back and if you're really nostalgic, don't old box TV, you can download Nintendo emulators. If you're somebody who likes mods in games, there's countless mods you can download for your favorite game to give you advantages or new skins or abilities or whatever. So, I mean, there's all sorts of benefits like that to it. Um, Audio, like some things that like I still prefer the PS5 party chat.
Yes.
I mean, Discord works well, but I mean, just you have to run another program to do it.
Yeah, that and it's taken us a minute to like get that dialed
Mm.
in as well. But no, you're right. The PlayStation game chat was always really good. And the other thing I like about the console probably a little bit better is just you know, there's one PlayStation store to go and buy games, whereas here it's
Mm.
just like because everybody makes PC games. Some games are on the Steam store, some are on the Microsoft store, some you have to go to like individual
Yeah.
company websites to go and get, and so it's just a little. I just like the everything and one stop shopping. That's what I like about console.
Yeah, I mean, like if you look at my desktop here, I would have the Epic Games launcher for Rocket League. I have the Microsoft's store for Gears of War and those ones. Like the Steam store for Modern Warfare. That's where I bought that. BattleNet.
Mm-hmm.
Just yeah, like you have to have so many different things to play specific games. So yeah, that is another benefit of PlayStation.
And then I think maybe the other thing that I don't like about it, and this isn't necessarily the PC's fault per se, but just the fact that a lot of things that I've bought on the PlayStation, I can't play now on the PC, even if they're
Mm,
yeah like this whole like cross platform. I guess part of me does understand why if you're a company you wouldn't want that, but at the same time it's just like dang, I own hundreds
yeah,
hundreds of games on the PlayStation. So it's just like,
yeah,
am I not going to buy a PS6? No, I am.
yeah. I would say though the Xbox. If I was an Xbox gamer, I'm pretty sure I would just go to PC
Yeah.
because you have everything available there, plus all the mods and everything. So like I have the Xbox Series X. I now since I've gotten this, I haven't touched it because I'm playing a game. I'd rather be here.
Yeah, no, for sure. If you can afford it and you have the setup and you're choosing between do I go PC or Xbox? Yeah, I don't think it makes any sense to go and purchase an Xbox over a PC just for all the reasons that you had mentioned, plus everything else that you
Mm.
can do with it.
Yeah, and no, but PS5 and Nintendo, well, you just said I will continue to buy the new ones become available for sure. Um, but I also think, like, in addition to building the PC itself, having a place for like you want a desk and you want like comfortable equipment with it. I know like part of the reason you play PlayStation, even when we do Rocket League and COD sometimes, is the comfortability of sitting in your couch,
Yeah.
being able to do like I have a pretty good gaming chair, so like I'm good sitting here, but
Like if you don't have a like gaming specific chair, it could be uncomfortable for like 3-4 hour gaming sessions sitting in a chair not built for that type of thing.
No, 100%. Like in our computer rooms, because we're hopefully moving in the next few months. Um, yeah, there's like a bed that's in front of the television, so I was like, well, we don't really have any room to put a recliner in here. So, yeah, you're right. Half the time that I play PlayStation, it is just simply due to the fact that my couch is out there and I can just like sit down or lay down and play video games on, on the big screen. So once we move, maybe not maybe I'll likely switch to playing maybe instead of a 50-50 split, more of a 75-25 PC
Mm.
versus PlayStation, because you're absolutely right. Like, having like a convenient, comfortable place to do anything, but yeah, especially for this, because right now I'm in my wife's chair that I stole from her office because my
Mm.
gaming chair is this. It's embarrassing. We'll just say that.
If it's the one I remember sitting in at
Yes.
Thanksgiving, yeah,
Yes.
especially for bigger gentlemen,
It's
it's.
not built for someone as stout as I.
Mm. Speaking of that, when I went to Walmart this morning, they had a director's chair that had like a for camping. It had like a side table on it. Definitely bought that.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, pretty wide and had a 600-pound weight limit. I'm like, yes. So, but like if you're a big person, just I mean, this is a side note, but those, like, if you ever buy camping chairs, like, A, it can be confining, and B, you need something that's going to make sure you don't collapse. So
Been there.
so this one's really nice. So it was only $40, but it has a little bit of a recline on it. It's got the arms, and it got the nice side table you can put as a cup holder, plus like a table to hold your phone, or like I read during the summer when I go to New York, so like to hold my book and everything. So
I'm gonna put a plug in for your sponsor, Lawrence.
I wish we were sponsored by Walmart.
That's funny.
I think it was you. Did you send the video of the McDonald's guy? There's some guy who did a podcast. McDonald's kept trying to get him to.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah, and then like he went up to 2.3 million, and he's like,
Tom Segura.
ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Yeah.
So
I won't be
Walmart,
bought.
McDonald's, our
won't
two viewers.
Yeah.
We got you.
That's funny.
You don't have to pay us. Like, give us like a daily allowance of something,
Food.
or Chick-fil-A. Come on,
Chick-fil-A.
or family friendly. But you mentioned a family thing, like for your daughter Coral and Ainsley. Like, how are they in terms of being able to use the PC, get things set up? Because you mentioned like how many places you have to find games. How is it for someone who may not be really gaming literate or something? Like, is it easy for them to get into and run things on here?
I mean, most everyone knows how to operate a computer, and so yeah, I mean, like for them, as long as they know like where they have to, like they just come in, they click the Microsoft button, it's good to go. And the games that they have to go and use a controller. I mean, it is all relatively easy to set up and get going, especially once you know what to do, or if somebody shows them. So I mean, yeah, like once you show somebody, it is relatively simple to get going, especially nowadays with everything. We just click this one, click that one. So I don't want it to make it seem like the various game streaming services make it hard to navigate on this. It's not at all. It's just it's a mild inconvenience, but not for anyone who's not computer literate. I mean, as long as you know where to click, easy peasy, baby.
And the nice thing too is, like, if you're on the computer, you have the Google right there to be able to research something if you don't know how to do it.
The Google.
Like, I know, like when we're doing our show, like not necessarily today, but like when we do our 2-round mock draft tomorrow, plug there. I'm gonna have like 5-6 tabs open, so it's nice to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Navigation within games or like the PS Store, having the mouse and keyboard is really nice for that, as opposed to a controller. So those are nice advantage.
Actually, yeah. So I mean, we play most games. I think that's the other thing that we haven't touched on, is using a controller versus a mouse and keyboard. I think you and I almost exclusively use the controller just because we've spent the last 25, 30 years using a controller. So, yeah, that's what we're going to use. But there are times that like I will put down my controller, like to navigate the menu or whatever, because it is easier, faster to use a mouse and keyboard. And I imagine if you grew up with a mouse and keyboard, then you're likely even better. I'll say this, I did for one round of Call of Duty use the mouse, and I can see why people who use the mouse are way more accurate, because it is a lot easier to click on someone's face than it is to navigate a joystick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but to me, it's the movement of using the keyboard that messes me up. Like, I've tried it on DMZ before, so it's not a real match, but I am so clunky in terms of moving around the map.
Right. Yeah, no, same. I mean, I could not, like, that's why I didn't do it. Like, the point and click and shooting, that was seamless and a lot easier, but moving was so challenging. And I think that's why you would almost need to do this from the get-go. Like, you would have need to have learned how to do it to be as proficient, because I don't know how long it would take me if I just sat down and forced myself to move with the keyboard, or how long it would take me to become as proficient as I am currently with a controller.
Yeah, and I think you have to do it young, because even people who play PC, like I see sometimes, like in close quarters, they can't move as quickly or as fluently as somebody on, and even like really good streamers like Teep and like Teep uses controller when he plays. He doesn't use mouse, and he knows how to use mouse and keyboard, but he will use a controller over the mouse and keyboard for competitive games.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, you can overclock your controller, which will make it less input lag, and you can still get the aim assist, which isn't available for PC mouse and keyboard.
Right.
But like even like when he has used it, like close quarters, he said it's really hard to track people. Like if they're 5 feet away and trying to like juke and jive you, it's harder to do that without aim assist and using mouse and keyboard, even for like those guys who that's their job.
Right.
So like for us, it's like, yeah, we don't play this enough to be able to get fluent in it.
Yeah, and that's ultimately it, right? Like we wanted to be a little bit better, but
And we
it
are.
wasn't like we knew we were or thought we were ever going to be, take this
No.
jump to be professional gamers. Like, nah,
No.
that ship has sailed.
No, like if I could win 50% more gunfights up close, I would be, and I feel like I do. Like I live barely and that person dies, whereas the PS5 I was. And it's funny you mentioned PS4 earlier. When we went from PS4 to PS5, I don't know, like we both talked like shooting people out of the air became so much easier because of how much faster the PS5 was than the PS4 when that first. So I feel like it was just that little bit more of a jump even from that to this.
This is a semi aside, but you and I have never, I guess, given any appreciation to when Rocket League increased the field of view or our ability to adjust it, and then us getting better. I think that does have a huge impact. Had a huge impact on us being able to get better at that game. And I think it's also true here too, where like if you can just see more, you can see the enemy coming.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think that this is an issue. I guess currently, maybe it is. I honestly don't recall if you can change the field of view on the PS5 or not. But yeah,
You can for COD.
Okay, but yeah, in the PS4, this was such a disadvantage. So if you're still using PS4, yeah, you are at a distinct disadvantage.
That's 100% you are. And yeah, it is the view, but I think that's also another advantage is PC. Like I'm right here with the screen, so I mean that makes it like. And Teep is, I know I keep going, but he's like my person I go to when I'm trying to learn online things. He's talked about like when you're playing on like a 65-inch TV, your eyes are having to like. It may not seem like much, but if you're having to scan a lot more than if it's right in front of you on a monitor, you can see without really moving your eyes. So like even little things like that give you an advantage over. Yeah, cool. Like our single player games look really good on our OLED TVs, but even just a little bit of your eyes are to the right and you have to go quickly left, that could be the difference winning and losing. So on like monitor, you're right there. You don't really have to go like left, right. You can see everything. So there's another advantage to that.
Yeah, and OLED monitors are so expensive. Like if you have any ambition of getting an OLED monitor, yeah, you better have some cash to spend because those things are pricey.
Yeah, like we got a G-Tech. I've never even heard of that company monitor for our PC, but like it has a 140, 160 refresh rate. And like we are getting that on COD and Rocket League. Like we're not dipping below that. We're fully getting it.
Yeah, that's good.
And like it's 1440p or something. Like and it looks good there too. Like you don't have to get the 4K on it, and your games will still look. Like I thought Halo when we played that looked just as good as it did when I played it on my Xbox on the TV. So. Yeah, you don't like, and ours was like what 250 for this monitor.
I think it was less than that, honestly. I think it was like 210, 225. I mean, it was in that range, yes.
Yeah, and it's a curved 27-inch. So like you don't. Those are places where you don't have to break the bank. And like you don't have to break the bank on a mouse and keyboard if you're going to do what we do and just use console.
Yeah,
Most
mine
of it.
were $25 because I use
Yeah.
controller almost all the time.
And it is nice you talked about how you can use the mouse and keyboard. Like it's an instantaneous transition. Like as soon as I move the mouse,
Mhm.
like I'm back to that. And if you like to talk in Rocket League, it's really nice to be able to type things out very quickly.
Yeah, you say a lot
Expe-
more specific compliments.
But like especially with a change I didn't know that Rocket League had made, you said even like words you may say all the time instead of just being able to R1 through them, now you have to hit an extra button.
Yes.
So they made it even more difficult to type said compliments, even the ones you do all the time for the PS5.
Sure is.
Yeah, we are very complimentary to those who beat us in any game.
Yeah.
It's definitely not because they cheated or are hacking.
I mean, that's the only reason why we lose in anything. You're either cheating or somebody hacked. I mean, that's like otherwise
Yeah.
we'd be undefeated, guaranteed.
Yep. Or you're smurfing in Rocket League. But like we saw a video of like Rocket League hack where it shows the exact place the ball is going. And guaranteed, like I know we joke about, like guaranteed we played people that have done that, who just
gosh.
who are always in the like nobody is in the perfect spot every single time.
Yeah.
So like imagine the advantage of playing Rocket League and knowing exactly the way the ball is going to bounce. Let's say on the corners where sometimes you know if it's going to ride up the wall or take that bounce just off it so it goes around you as you go for the wall hit.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to just those little things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that is
I mean,
one thing that we've never even talked about. We've never even joked about, and I really don't even have any ambition to even look it up. But like cheating on video games, it's like, what is the point? Right? Like I play it to try to. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like what a defeating. Yeah, I don't know.
like,
honestly,
how do you feel when you cheat and you still lose?
Yeah, it's like wow, I super suck.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, to me, that would take the thrill away of actually winning something.
Yeah, it's because cool, I won, but I cheated to win. It's like, all right,
Yeah, like,
cool.
like
So can't everybody else.
I can't even estimate the amount of time we spent playing Rocket League and Call of Duty the last 3 years. But no, and especially since Warzone came out, we'll ignore Blackout. We've won like 150 matches. I mean, that still brings like the end game and winning still brings like that jolt of energy. Like, yes, we just beat 150 people. Rocket League, we're still like doing things and beating people, and that gets, especially like when you know that they're probably a little bit better than you.
I mean,
we win, able to pull out the win,
or at least I guess I win because I know I play more than you. I win like 60% of my matches. I know it's not as high as everyone, but I win more than I lose.
Yeah, I mean, 60% win percentage is pretty. I mean, if you're a sports team and had that as your franchise, that'd be pretty solid.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, so cheating, I feel, would just like take away from that.
So I guess that is potentially one benefit to the PC is that if you are a piece of garbage and you can't beat anybody, then here you go. Here's your advantage.
Yeah, we mentioned about the mods you can get for games earlier. There's an endless supply of cheating tools for you to be able to download as well, I would imagine.
Yeah, because Lord knows that the anti-cheats don't work at all.
No, yeah. We'll have to see if this Warzone one that supposedly can detect Cronus and everything actually works.
I don't even know what Cronus is.
Cronus is the one I think that gives you like a lock-on aim. Mm-hmm. So like as soon as like you turn it, instantly puts your reticule right on the person, upper body head.
So why would it take them this long to ban that?
I think they're having a hard time detecting it. So from what they said on this update, they've really increased the capability of their program being able to detect. And as another aside, I mean, because a lot of streamers, when that was announced, they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna be done with the Warzone. So there's a lot of speculation of those Warzone guys are leaving because it was just the timing of it was weird. Like they were
Yeah.
playing Warzone, then all of a sudden that was announced. Like a day later, like 3 of the 4 top ones, like, yeah, I'm gonna be switching games for a while, and
Who?
like Aiden and a few, like you wouldn't, people that I don't talk about, but like on my Twitch they'll pop up, and like he was the one who had like the 60 kill Verdansk win where we killed the Juggernaut at the end as his 60th kill.
Mm-hmm.
So like everyone is always like accusing me, oh no, he's cheating. And Symphony, who always like flicks and does wall bangs for people that you would think like he has no idea where they're at. And all of a sudden they're like, hey, I'm gonna take a break from Warzone right after this announcement was made. So people are like, yeah, that's a bit weird.
I mean, yeah, to say it's coincidental would be an understatement.
Yeah.
You're a suspected cheater, and then you're gonna stop playing a game once you can no longer cheat.
Yeah. But yeah, people can watch us and they would definitely never think we're cheating.
Certainly, like, wow, these guys are cheating. They must really suck.
Yeah, they'll be thinking, man, those dirtbags cheating still can't win.
Those dirtbags. What an underutilized insult.
Yeah,
Dirtbag.
we start throwing it into the compliment pool of rock that they keep a little bit.
Seriously though.
Yeah. No, we're very complimentary. It's good. What we call people are good things. They should be what we call them. And they shouldn't see what we tell them they're going to see unless they pay.
Right.
So, yeah. So, I mean, to wrap up our thoughts, if you're, think about your gaming style, like what you do as a gamer. If you do a lot of like Apex or Fortnite or any of those online competitive things, and you're trying to debate, do I want to go into the PC world? Yeah, like, do you want to spend money to be a little bit better at it? Okay.
I mean, yeah, that's really it. You know, unless you have dreams and goals of being a pro gamer, for which most people are not going to be.
No.
Yeah, like are you okay with spending between $1,000 and $5,000 on a PC to be a little bit better? That ultimately is it. I mean, you can obviously, but then again, it's a useful tool that can be used for school, for work, for whatever. It isn't obviously just. Whereas a console, you can only really use it to play video games and watch television. Your PC, you can obviously use for everything, and that's for me why I see the extra benefit to it. It isn't just gaming. If it was just for gaming, it's hard to justify $3,000. But for all the other things that this PC can do that we have used it for, yeah, I don't regret it at all.
No, like, and I used to bring my laptop home from work every other day, but now I don't because I can hop on here if I need to do something work-wise. I don't have to worry about that all the time.
Yeah.
Being able to, like you said, do things at home with the PC that I wouldn't be able to do on a tablet or phone isn't like an advantage. I know, like, your wife she does nursing and doctoring online, so does she use this for that, or she use her own?
Yes, she does nursing and doctoring online. But no, yeah, I mean, she uses it on occasion to like check emails and do various things. But
yeah, so versatility, like it's better.
Yeah.
And the only thing I would say, like, if you're a Nintendo and PlayStation person, like, you're still going to need those systems because it takes a while for Sony to put their games on PC. They're good, like they're
never will.
Yeah, never. So, but if you're a Nintendo fan, you already know that you're just going to always have to buy their underpowered system to play their excellent games.
Yeah, Nintendo.
But yeah. So later today, everybody can get a double dose. You're welcome. Whammy! We're going to be doing our 2-round mock drafts. The format will be we'll each get 2 picks in a row, so to change it up a little bit. Obviously, 2 rounds is going to change it up a little bit. We're not going to spend as much time on each pick just to time's sake, because our last one that was just a single round was an hour and a half. So as much as we like doing this, I don't know if I want to do a 3-hour show.
Yeah, I like this. I don't like you though.
Yeah. Thankfully, on my computer monitor, it says EOS webcam utility on your screen. So
Whatever.
you're stuck looking at me. I look down just to make sure your stream is still going on the Twitch phone.
I would love for this to just like us to just talk and it would, not record.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be wonderful, right? We just spent all this for nothing. But yeah, we'll be doing that later today. Obviously, you can always go to our YouTube channel, Sticks and Skins. The draft is 2 weeks away. Very excited about that.
Seriously.
We will be doing at least a round one recap after Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, considering we're gonna, because for that Friday, I'm not going to be gaming. I will be watching the second and third rounds of the draft on that Friday. So we'll probably do a after reaction show there as well.
Boom.
But I hope you got at least some insight to PC versus console gaming. If you're like us and have been console gamers your whole lives, there are benefits to going to PC, but I think you'll always still want to have your console.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I mean, we're not like rich by any means, but if you budget everything correctly, you can still have those types of things, all of it.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, so we are pretty much good at life. So for Corey Dungan, I am Lawrence Foster. Thank you for joining us for our Sticks and Skins show. We will see you later today for our 2-round mock draft.
Adios.